Do the drug driving laws apply to people who have been prescribed medicinal cannabis and they can possess and use cannabis perfectly legally in the UK? So I asked a criminal lawyer who specialises in motoring offences. His name was John Wilkins. He works at Rave Solicitors. Here's what he told me. Individuals who are prescribed medical cannabis are permitted to drive, providing they adhere to the advice given by their doctor upon usage and driving. Most importantly, the driver must not be impaired at the time of driving. If the driving was impaired through the use of cannabis, this increases the risk of being prosecuted for driving whilst impaired, as opposed to drug driving. What's the legal definition of impaired? And he said the legal definition of impaired is open to interpretation and open to legal debate. So what does that mean? Well, he added, it would be advisable to speak with the prescribing doctor concerning their advice about driving whilst using prescribed medical cannabis. So if you go on the government's website, you can see that when you go on to look at the drug driving limits, which is the amount that you're allowed to have in your blood, without it being considered an offence if you're driving, they've split that into two sections. They have the section that they call the illegal drugs, and then they have the other section which they call the medical drugs. But hold on a minute, cannabis is in the wrong section. Cannabis is in the illegal section, but cannabis is legal in the UK for medicinal use. It has been since November 2018. So none of this makes any sense at all. So to try and learn more about this, I looked at the instructions that came with a tub of cannabis. It says, do not drive whilst taking this medicine until you know how it affects you. Do not drive if you feel sleepy, dizzy, unable to concentrate or make decisions, or if you have blurred or double vision. So then I got in contact with a cannabis clinic here in the UK, and they said that there is official guidance on this, and this is what the guidance is. This information has been provided and approved by the Cannabis Industry Council. As a patient prescribed with cannabis medicine, you can possess and take your medicine and continue to drive a motor vehicle as long as 1. You are not impaired. 2. The cannabis medicine has been prescribed to you and this can be evidenced. 3. You are following the directions provided by your specialist consultant and the instructions given by the manufacturer or distributor of the medicine. If you can provide sufficient evidence that you meet the criteria above, you have a statutory medical defence. You should not be arrested and have a defence to the offence of driving or being in charge of a motor vehicle with the THC over the specified limits.